President Clinton, I think he's going to be okay. He has a lot of Leo and Libra energy. And I was thinking this past year, he's always kind of been in the back of my mind concerned like with health issues. Because, he's got Pluto and Leo. I think maybe Leo might be at the top of his chart. His angles of his chart, look at this. I made this little thing today. Because I've talked so much about a horoscope. For President Clinton, these are the angles of the chart. Think of those as like the first day of a certain season. That's what ushers everything in. It's a big point where energies are infused and rush in with a different job to do for that quarter. That's what these points are. I looked quickly at these points, and I believe the top and the bottom got eclipsed. I call it the Soleimani eclipse back on December 26, 2019, when they were planning the Soleimani thing. I think he's going to be okay. I think it might take a little bit longer to bounce back because with all that Leo energy, and we've got, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, we've got Uranus and Taurus. He's going to just have to pace himself. And I think he's going to be okay though. I actually have a Bill Clinton story. Do you want to hear it? I actually met him. This is a good story. How are you guys? I can look up a chart for him, but I know that his chart, you guys, he's really sexy and handsome in person. I did not expect that at all. Bill, where are you? Bill Clinton. 5 Libra, 5 Aries. Ooh, 5 Capricorn, 5. Okay. So, with his chart, when he was born, the sign coming over the eastern horizon, the rising sign, this is your life, your vitality, this is how you meet the world. 5 Libra, very diplomatic, an eloquent speaker. Venus, he's got in this first house, he's got Mars, Neptune, Venus, and Jupiter all in that first house. He's very sexy. This Neptune between the Mars and the Venus, well, that explains that now that I'm looking at that. He's got all of this here, and it lends for great vitality for the body. But here's this Neptune right here. That rules hidden toxins. He's got kind of an infection. Neptune has to do with the immune system as well. It's right in between that Mars and his Venus. And that Soleimani eclipse happened at 4 degrees Capricorn. So it's like it hit here, 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 here. Okay? His sun is 26 Leo. His Pluto is 11 Leo. His moon, 20 Taurus. Venus ruled. So this is his chart. This all got eclipsed. He has transit planets right now. Aquarius is over here, 5th house of the sun. This like rules your heart. His sun and his Pluto, they're opposite here. So this is what's giving a lot of stress. And we've got Uranus over here, which has to do with circulation, kicking things up, bringing in some unexpected hidden things in this 8th house. So I think he's going to be okay. So I met him, in, was it 1994? He was in Chicago. I was living in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for a while. I had a bunch of roommates. It was the wildest summer, craziest summer of my life. I loved it, but also I was like, oh my God, I got to get out of here because it was just parties all the time, just a lot of fun. But even in my 20s, I was like, this is a little bit much. We got to rein this in. But my roommate, her boyfriend, he was working as an intern for the White House at the time, and he was the one that coordinated the motorcades. So I had the summers off because here I am, a school psychologist. And what am I going to do? So he comes into town. He's like, hey, do you want to work the motorcade? I'm like, sure, no problem. So they got like 20 minivans together. I do like a security check. I got to wear, that metal pin that they put on people that I see people wearing now. Like when the Congress people were taking off those pins that said that they were congressional people, it's like I got to wear something like that. But he was in Chicago for like 2-3 days. And like I was an extra driver, so I didn't really drive. I just kind of rode shotgun. But my minivan that we were driving was HRC staff. Hillary Rodham Clinton staff. So she wasn't in our minivan, but it was her staff. I had no idea who anybody was. I was like not involved in politics at all, just hanging out. But it was really cool because we would drive all over the city and everything's on lockdown. And it just was so easy to get back and forth and go different places. I remember we stopped at the Sheraton Hilton on Michigan Avenue, and I'm just like standing around, and the driver of the limousine was like, hey, do you want to see the limousine? I was like, sure. And he like shows me the limousine, like they open the door, like the door's like this, it's so thick, the glass is like 6 inches thick, and they open the door, and there's President Clinton's, he had a smaller version of a Bible sitting right there, and then the guy is telling me all about what the limousine can do. It was amazing. And then like there was a Suburban like 2 cars ahead of us that had these military guys, and like the back window door, it would come down in an instant, and they had like machine guns, shoot stuff down. I remember we were along the lake shore, and he like went for a jog, and then people wanted to talk to him, but it was really exciting. So we did that for like 2-3 days. When it was over, the guy who was in charge of the motorcade said, oh, I can't promise it, but it seems like we might be able to get you guys to line up, on the tarmac at Meigs Field before they tore it down on Chicago's lakefront. There was this airport called Meigs Field. And just the little Cessna planes would fly in and out. It was just so easy to get in and out of there. Well, that's where his helicopter was taking off. And so, in fact, we did get to go line up on the tarmac and meet him and Hillary. And the White House photographer was there. It was really, really cool. And so we were told, if you have a, something near and dear to your heart, go ahead and talk to him about it. You can say whatever. He listens. He remembers everything. So I'm like, what am I going to say? God, how old was I? I think I was only like 24. I was really young. Yeah, I was only like 24. So I'm like, what am I going to say? I'm like, I'll say something about education. And I couldn't think of anything. Well, it didn't matter anyways, because we get in line. And I'm sorry to say, Hillary Clinton looked extremely crabby. I don't blame her, though. It's a lot of stuff to do. But, we're standing in line, and I'm, trying to think of what I'm going to say. And it's my turn, and he walks up to me, and I never thought of him as sexy. His aura, he's got a vortex of sexiness that is, off the charts. I was speechless because he's all gray, and he's looking at me in the eye, and he's almost, he seemed like he was 2 feet taller than me, but he, not even a foot, but he's looking at me expectantly, I'm gonna say something important. And I look at him and I'm like, thank you. And he goes, no, thank you. And I looked at him like, no, thank you. He's like, thank you. That's what I did with President Clinton. I just did the stupid thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. And that was it. That's all. I was totally speechless. speechless. And then I was like so embarrassed. And then there's Hillary, which I'm sure she saw me like, what's her problem? She can't talk? Like, no, I can't talk. And like I shook her hand. And I have pictures of myself with them, like doing this whole little thank you, no thank you, thank you. That whole little shtick. Packed away. It's still packed away somewhere, but I was going to try to pull them out and show it to you guys because it's kind of funny because I totally am like, got the thank you smile going on. So that's my Bill and Hillary story. It was so much fun. I loved it. And I loved the motorcades. And we had a motorcade around here, and I got my daughter in the car. And I'm like, you need to go watch a motorcade, which is just go sit in traffic because nobody moves anywhere. But you got to understand what's going on the ground when someone important comes into town. You know, things shut down. You can't get around. People don't mess around at all. So that's my little story. I've never forgotten that essence about him. And yeah, just amazing. So I feel like he's going to be okay. It's just, he's older. What he's going to go through with this stuff, he's going to have to pace himself. Is all. So how are you guys doing? Oh, hi, Marby. Thank you so much.